Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different one. It's going to be a point of view from myself in TTM Motorsport, the mini series. I did one in Spa last time, but I only lasted 2 laps, as some of you may be aware. But this time we try and last a little bit longer than 2 laps, as we are on the hot lap now. This is what was my fastest lap in qualifying, which I gave my final result. But I thought this was a pretty good lap, to be honest. I didn't think I had this in my locker. I was doing practicing throughout the week previous to this race, and I was only able to get into the 110. So as you can see at the moment, I have set a purple first sector, which was quite incredible. And the previous lap I got a 1:09.1. So straight away I've already knocked nearly a second off what I was actually able to do in practice. I don't know why I could suddenly get better times. I don't know if it was just the pressure was like relief when now I was in the race, because I was stressing a lot before. But you can see I've done another purple sector there. So at this point I'm literally fastest on track. So I thought, wow, I'm in for a good lap here. But as we are now heading towards the finish line, I end up doing a 1 minute 8.09. Sorry, a 1 minute 8.809. I actually matched with Lundy there, so that was quite incredible. But here we have the lights out, and not the best launch, but I don't have any threat from behind me, which was good initially. I try and send it around the outside of Arnold, around the Redo here, but he does cut me off completely there, and I was lucky not to lock up wheels there, and that could have been my race over. But nevertheless, we want to make sure the first lap's clean ultimately, because there's so many cars around, and if I get in a problem of an accident, as the Ferrari actually hits the Renault there, and I have to just miss the Ferrari pickles. But yeah, there's so many cars go everywhere that if I do end up getting involved in an incident, chances are there'll be a bigger incident behind me. But sim racing does take advantage of that little scuffle the 3 of us had there, and he did overtake me, but we try and keep calm. On the first couple laps I did feel a little bit shaky, to be honest. I did feel like my quali lap was exceptionally fast, but I don't feel like I had the race pace initially. As you can already see, I've already got quite a big gap off of sim racing and the Williams just ahead of me, but I remained focused, and I knew there's a long race ahead of me yet, so I had a little bit of a strategy in my head that I thought would be able to pay off. But yeah, now we're on to lap 2. My teammate has had to pit, so they must have got involved with an incident on the first lap, which is really unfortunate. That isn't going to do our fight for the Constructors' Championship any good at all, as we are currently battling for second in the Constructors, and it's really tight between a few teams at the moment. But nevertheless, we are currently focusing on ourselves and to get to the end of this race and score some good points for the team. At this point I'm just sort of taking it easy, hoping that there might be like a little bit of an incident or something ahead of me, as sim racing goes a little bit wide and I completely follow him out there and nearly end up going through the grass. But I do have a little bit of a threat from behind me there. That was Dylan Daly in the Alfa Romeo. I hope he did overtake him, so I'm not too sure if he overcooked the corner there. But Halibo did set the fastest lap on lap 2, as we enter lap 3 now. I can see Pickles and Arnold having a battle up ahead, and me and Sim Racing are sat behind watching this. But everything seems pretty clean so far. I mean, I've not got involved with any problems yet, as Pickles goes straight on there, having a little bit of a battle with Arnold. Couldn't quite see from our angle what happened there, but at this point I'm still just determined to make as many positions as I can in the best manner possible. As now we've caught right up to these 2 drivers, and we do make a tiny bit of contact there with Sim Racing, but there was no problems with damage or any positions gained or lost from that, so it's not a big deal, as we have a virtual safety car now, so everyone needs to slow down to Delta pace. and a virtual safety car is ending again, and I try and get a good start, but I do back off a little bit. But nevertheless, we're now heading down the pit straight, and sim racing is side to side, but I think better of it. I do back off, but sim racing overcooks a corner massively there, and I get a much better exit. So now I'm looking at possibly trying to make an overtake if it can work in my favour and I can do it in a clean, safe manner. As I look around the outside here, sim racing goes defensive, but I think better of it. I couldn't quite make the overtake around the outside, as that would be quite hard to do, I could imagine. So I know it's early days yet. We've got a long time of this, a long race ahead of us yet, as I make another little bit of contact with sim racing. But again, not enough contact to cause damage or anything, but we have completely different braking zones here. As we now are going on to lap 5, I look around the outside, a little bit cheeky for me, to be honest. I shouldn't have gone 2 wheels over the white line, but the gap was there. I thought so anyway, and I sort of looked for it. But again, no problems. I didn't make the move, and we remained in the same positions. As I now look up the inside of sim racing, as I have the inside line this time, but I go a little bit too wide, going over the curb, which slows me right down, and the Williams car gets back past me once again. So now I'm sort of thinking I have a little bit better pace, or it could be a better setup over sim racing. So now I just want to play my chances right. I don't want to make a silly overtake and possibly cause a collision, because that could ultimately ruin my race and sim racing's race. But now I do have Pickles, who has caught up, and they are all over the back of me now, all up my gearbox, putting a lot of pressure on me. But I remain focused as always, and I'm focusing on what's going on ahead of me rather than trying to defend too much behind me. But as we're going down the pit straight once again, we're now heading on to lap 6, as Pickles does look up the inside here, and I don't go defensive, but nevertheless Pickles does make the overtake, and there's not really much I could do there. A very clean overtake from Pickles, but they do go a little bit wide here, which does give you the better line and the better exit. And I don't hold off. I do go for the lunge here. Pickles gives me room. Very clean driving from the Ferrari driver, and I do make it stick. So now it's a sort of side by side, and Pickles does think better of it and lets off. So I've gained my position back, which I initially lost, and I almost lose it there. Have a lot of oversteer there, clipping the curb, which was very slippy here in Brazil, I do find. Nevertheless, we do move on. Sim Racing's made a gap on me now after me and Pickles have had a little bit of a battle. Pickles is currently the championship leader, and I do feel like I could have been holding him up a little bit, hence the reason he's about to pit right now. So I did initially think in the race, did Pickles bin it? But my teammate did say that he had pitted, so that was a bit of a relief, because I thought that may have had something to do with me. But nevertheless, we move on now. We're currently P6, so we have done a few overtakes, but we are actually in the same position where we started off. So so now we are on lap 8, about to head on to lap 9, and Hopi has been following me for quite a couple laps now, and have been putting a lot of pressure on me, as they do look up the inside here. I give them the room, but they think better of it, and they do back off, which is fair enough. They're probably looking at possibly doing me down here on the DRS zone, which is probably the safer option rather than doing it through that corner, because if you do the slightest thing wrong, it can quite easily go wrong. So I think Hopi was very mature there, and I'm thinking about their race at the end of the day rather than trying to win it from the start. But nevertheless, I defend, and we remain in the same positions as before. But I'm really trying to push Sim Racing now, and I think Sim Racing is trying to make a gap. But I'm really going into overdrive mode now. I want to get past Sim Racing because I'm getting pressure from behind me, and I can see there's a gap ahead of Sim Racing. So if I can get ahead of Sim Racing and I can make a gap, I can be free for a little while and not have to worry about too much. So Hope he doesn't seem too close to me right now, so I feel like they won't be able to make an overtake. But we do enter the DRS zone now, and Hopey, as you can see on the arrows above the screen, is catching me, but it isn't enough. And I hold the racing line, and Hopey backs off. But we go once again into the second DRS zone, and then we skip to lap 11. And I do make contact for the third time with Sim Racing. I can see that his tyres are literally gone now. My tyres are actually holding off pretty well. So I think now is the best opportunity to make the overtake, as I need to get ahead of the Williams driver now, so the other Williams driver doesn't overtake me. So I make the move stick pretty well there. I was pretty happy with that. As Sim Racing does look a little bit up the inside there, I give them the room, but they do back off. So at this point I'm thinking, right, I need to push. I need to make up as much seconds as I can. I want them to be over a second behind me, and I do overcook it a little bit there. But yeah, I need to make sure that I've got over a second gap behind me, because I don't want to be in the DRS zone for them. And you can tell I go wide there as well. So you can just tell how much I'm really trying to overdrive this car at the moment to try and make the biggest gap possible. Breeny Boy sets the fastest lap, and he was absolutely insane in the first almost half of the race, I'd say. But you'll see in a little while what happens to them. But they are insanely quick. You'll see them in the Tier 2 series as well. A very, very quick driver. Very hard to beat. But they are now in both series. So now you can see I've made a gap, because the Williams are now battling each other, which is really, really good for me. That's exactly what I was hoping. I don't want to be getting involved with that, scuffling around. I would much rather them be doing it behind me. So now, again, I'm just trying to keep to the racing line and try and put in the best laps I can without bidding it, essentially. I'm in for some good points here after my DNF in Spa. I knew I needed to make up some really good points here, and I felt like I had the pace. Initially, I wasn't confident with Brazil going into this race weekend, into this round 6, in fact. But after qualifying, I did think I had pace, which I didn't think I had. So it gave me a lot of confidence getting the P6 in qualifying. So now I can sort of tell that I've got the race pace as well. I really, really wanted to get maximum points whilst I have the chance. As we are now on to lap 13 of 36. And there's a massive gap ahead of me. I mean, Riceman and the Red Bull, I can't even see him. If you look on the radar, he is about to head into the corner now. And I'm not even at the end of the straight yet. And now I'm only able to make the corner now. So he is quite a few seconds ahead of me. But nevertheless, I'm focused. I know there's a long race ahead. We still need to do pit stops and everything yet. So as long as I get my strategy right and I play it all right, I know that I could be in for some solid points here in Brazil. But the two Williams drivers have got a little bit closer to me now. As you can see on the arrows into my cockpit, you can see they're getting really, really close to me now. But I remain focused, which I felt like I'd done pretty well this race so far, and I wasn't too concerned what was going on behind me. But yeah, we had the safety car come out now, and this was the lap I was going to pit anyway, so this really worked in my favour. As you can see, Brindy Boy has completely binned it into the pits, who was the race leader, so I gained a position instantly from that. So now I'm up into P3. I go for the medium compound as I pull into my pit box now, and I put the mediums on, don't get held up, and that was probably the best pit stop I could possibly get. So I was very happy with that, and now we're onto a safety car. Everyone can be bunched up again, and I can look at putting pressure onto the two drivers ahead of me, which will be Riceman and Halibo. So here we are on the race restart, and I want to get the best possible start here. As you can see me on the outside of Riceman, I want to make sure I can see exactly when Halibo sends it, which he does in great style there. And Riceman was lacking a little bit there. He did fall asleep on the restart slightly, but I want to sit behind him. I'm not looking at making an attack into turn 1. I think that's it's not needed. I know I'm in a good position now. I don't want to risk it all. There's no point jeopardising a good points finish for a sloppy mistake. Sorry, for a sloppy overtake at this point in the race. So now I'm just keeping with these drivers the best I can, and ideally want to be making a gap behind me. But as I say that, sim racing is right up my gearbox now. As I'm sure we'll be using a little bit more ERS than me because it's going a hell of a lot quicker. But I'm trying to save my ERS for the straights when I need it most, as I'm currently just cruising around on low in standard fuel mode around the circuit until I get onto the straight. I normally put it into rich, into high. But right now, I'm feeling confident. Everything seems to be going pretty well up until now. And we're about to head on to lap 17 of 36. I did feel like both drivers ahead of me was quicker, so I was just, as long as I sort of kept up with them, I was happy at the end of the day. As Halibo goes defensive on Riceman, and Riceman keeps a slipstream, and so do I. I don't want to be breaking that slipstream. I want to be going as quick as I can. As I do set the fastest Q1, the fastest Sector 1 I have done this race. So we're improving our times on these medium compounds. They are much quicker than the softs we used initially on the old softs that we qualified on. But it's literally follow the leader right now. We're waiting for someone to make a mistake, so we can take advantage from it. As I set a green Sector 2. I'm feeling good right now, and waiting for the right time to possibly make an overtake. But we're in a podium position right now. I don't want to do anything drastic, as it is so unneeded, to be quite honest. I'm heading to turn 1 now, through turn 2, and I do get a bit of a better exit here, but I do run a little bit wide, which is unfortunate. But nevertheless, we are in DRS zone, as Riceman does run a little bit wide, which will slow him down. But having the second place in DRS and myself in DRS, I can't really make much time on that because, well, we're both in DRS and we're both sort of equal with slipstream and that. So, again, it's following the leader, and I'll make sure I've got to stick with them and stay within DRS zone. And I do set a purple Sector 1 there, actually. So I do know at this point I'm actually going pretty fast. So I didn't want to get too hot-headed here. I wanted to keep my cool head on. But I knew there was a chance, some good points here. But as we sort of move through the race, we're at the halfway point now, just over the halfway point. So we've got to look at maybe making an overtake as soon as we can now, so we can try and make a gap from the rest of the field. As Halibo and Riceman do go side by side here through turn 1, and they do make a tiny bit of contact, but it's okay. And Riceman does go around the outside there, but they are so close, literally neck and neck right now. And I'm thinking, right, I'm in DRS and I've got nowhere to go. I could have gone 3 wide, I could have gone up the middle of both of them, but I choose not to. And I do make a bit of contact there with Halibo, which I do apologise for. But again, it's only a little knock. No one's lost positions and no one's took any damage, luckily. But I should have chose my braking zone better. But Little Racer does the exact same thing as me. Riceman, I'm sorry, does the exact same thing as me. And he overcooks it, hits Halibo, but this time sends Halibo into a spin. So Riceman does pick up a penalty for this at the end of the race. But now I'm in a position where, right, they've made contact. Riceman will be getting penalised for that. So at the moment I'm thinking, right, this race as it stands is mine. I know as long as I keep with Riceman, he's going to get a penalty at the end, and this could potentially be my first ever league victory. But again, we don't get hot-headed. We continue as we are, and we continue to put in consistent laps, and we don't want to drop off from that 1 second gap. We want to be in that DRS zone at all times, which we managed to stay in now. So we enter DRS zone, and we try and make as much time down the straight here as we can to keep up with him, ready for the next DRS zone. So this is crucial now. I'm thinking, right, I'm up right with the leader. I know I'm fast. Could we see an overtake at the end of this straight? Riceman goes defensive. And I keep to the inside line. And he goes wide, going across the curb, and it completely slows him down. I look around the outside. I do go a little bit too wide, which is why I choose to back off.
No!
Hard base attack.
As we now
Another
take
wheel.
control
No.
again.
Okay. I cannot get out here.
Keep going for now, keep
I
going.
can't, it's broken! It's broken! It's broken! No!
And that is the end to our race, unfortunately. After losing connection, I reconnected and my steering wheel disconnected. But here are the points after Brazil. Very unfortunate. I feel like I could have got my first victory if things went to plan. But nevertheless, we move on. And we do head to Canada next week. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Not the best result. Could have been a lot better. But we move. Thanks for watching.